What's up, word nerds? It is Tuesday, December 7th, 2021. Welcome to Puzzle with Me. My name is Lawrence, and today it is Teaching Tuesday for Puzzle with Me, the channel. This is every other first Tuesday of the month. So every other month, on the first Tuesday of the month, I do a what I call Teaching Tuesday. My cat is going crazy right now. Hey, buddy. Stop that, please. Sorry. I do Teaching Tuesday, in which I go very slowly through the New York Times crossword and talk about cluing, talk about how clues work in American-style crosswords, and generally how to think about solving the puzzle. And basically, this is a video for people who are either just getting started, just breaking into crosswords, or are curious about crosswords and want to learn some stuff about how to solve it, or like maybe beginner to intermediate level, like people who are trying to up their game, maybe trying to learn how to get faster and faster on the puzzle and learning some tricks of the trade. So if you are a veteran of crosswords, I don't blame you if you skip this video, if you come back tomorrow, or you can either just you can also even just skip ahead to the end of this video and hear my comments on the puzzle, see the solved grid. Yeah, that being said, I got my mandolin back there. Those of you who have been paying attention to the channel, who were here on Sunday, would know I just got a mandolin. I'm pretty excited about it. My fingers are really in pain on my right hand, not my right hand, my left hand, where I'm playing the notes on the frets. Wow, that's really rough on the fingertips. I need to build up some calluses. Hopefully that will happen soon. Anyways, let's open up the puzzle. I'm gonna ignore the timer today because, pardon me, I'm gonna ignore the timer today because I'm going slowly. I'm talking through it, but just before I get started talking about it, the way this app works is the yellow square that you can see moving around the 1, 2, 3 there, that's where I am currently typing at any given moment, and then the blue highlights are what is being highlighted in the clue to the left of the grid. So one across, we can see the clue is truck weigh station unit. That's how the app works. So if you solve either on online in a web browser or on the app, that's just generally how it works. Let's talk about the New York Times crossword. First of all, before we get started, Monday through Thursday in the New York Times crossword are all what we call themed puzzles, in which there is some kind of overarching theme that goes throughout the puzzle. It's usually, almost always, in the theme is present in the longest across entries of the grid. So if we look at today's grid, this one that you can see here, the longest across entries would be 18 across here, possibly 23 across here, and then 37 across, that really long one going all the way across the middle, probably 48 across and 57 across. And as you can see, now that I've highlighted 57 across, it is also showing me highlights of all those other ones that I just mentioned, to confirm that yes, in fact, these are all the themed entries of today. They all have some kind of overarching connection that will work out later. We're not going to worry about it right now. I just want to let you know that that's a thing that happens in the crossword. And generally, when you're starting out, don't worry about the theme. You should know that it's there, but while you're solving, don't try and figure it out until you get a good way through the puzzle. It'll just slow you down, and it's just a distraction. Really, you want to just focus on one word at a time. If you're doing this on paper, by the way, doing the crossword on paper is a little bit different, because you can see like the full list of clues just right there in front of you, and you can kind of just jump on whatever jumps out to you that you might know already, and just write it in. But when we're going on the app, you don't see the full list all the time. So like, for example, on paper, I might see, now just looking at the list of clues that I can see right here, I might see 8 down. This right here, half blank as a wrestling hold. Like, I might see that clue on the paper and I'd be like, oh, I know that. That's half Nelson. And I would just write in Nelson. And you can jump around quite a lot on paper. It's harder to jump around like that in the app. It just kind of makes more sense to go in order on the app and just kind of go through the clues in order. But there's really no right or wrong way to solve the puzzle. You should do it, in whatever way that makes you feel comfortable, or whatever way that makes the most sense to you when you're starting out. That being said, for today, I'm going to just kind of go through more or less in order. I'm going to start with the across clues. And then, actually, no, I'm not going to start with the across clues only. I'm going to go by area of the grid. So I'm going to start at 1 across here, and I'm going to try and fill in this top left corner, which we would call the northwest corner of the grid here. 1 across, a truck weigh station unit. So a unit that is used at truck weigh stations, maybe a ton, probably a ton, that would be my guess. Let's go 13 across. Boston's mass blank. So this is just a straightforward fill in the blank. I don't know quite yet what that is referencing, so I'm going to need some more letters. When you don't know something, don't waste any time on it. Just skip it and move on, because chances are you'll get some letters to cross it later, and those extra letters that you get will maybe help you to figure it out. So just skip it and move on. 'Tis the season, and then ABBR is abbreviated. I also don't know what this is referencing. It's clearly some kind of Christmas thing, but I don't know what the answer is meant to be here. Okay, 1 down, self-congratulatory cry. I'm not sure if this is meant to be either a thing that you would actually say as a self-congratulatory cry, or another word for a self-congratulatory cry. It could be either. If it's the latter, another word to mean a self-congratulatory cry, it could be toot, as in toot your own horn. But if it is something that you would say as a self-congratulatory cry, that could be like maybe to me, as in like a toast to me, maybe. I'm not sure. I'm going to stick with toot for now. 2 down, have a bun in the blank. That's a very easy fill in the blank. And this is a good example of ones that you should just, like, if you see it, just go to it and fill it in right away. A bun in the oven, obviously. And then 3 down, aid for sleeping on a plane. So one thing to think about here. This will be more relevant later than it is here, but one general rule of American-style crosswords is plurality carries over between clue and answer. So in this case, 3 down, it is aid for sleeping on a plane. This is a singular aid, so this answer is going to be singular. But I want to look at something else. For example, 14 across. This will be a good example. Birth announcement units. Units with an S. This is plural. So this answer is likely going to end in an S. It should be plural. Plurality will carry across. To contrast, just to show you a little contrast with that, if we go back to 1 across, which was ton, the clue there was unit with no S on the end of unit. That is a singular unit, so it is ton rather than tons. This is a general rule that is almost never broken in crosswords. So you can pretty much guarantee that that's going to hold fast. If you see a plural, there's a good chance it will end in an S. Of course, there are other things that are still plural but don't end in S's. So like, like cactus and cacti, for example. Like, There are words that are still plural but don't end in S, but generally most of them end in S when they're plural, so S is a good thing to fill out. Anyways, let's go back to 3 down. Aid for sleeping on a plane. I can think of like, it's maybe like noise canceling something, noise canceling headphones or something like that. Could be an eye mask of some sort, could be a sleep pill of some sort. Maybe something in that vein, but I'm not sure. And then Boston's Mass. I don't know what this is, to be honest. Unfortunately, sometimes you just come across things that you don't know, and I do not know that one. 'Tis the season. Yeah, I wonder if toot is not correct. Let's look at 20 across. Place to attach a surfboard leash. That, I know, is an ankle. Ankle is where you attach a surfboard leash. Okay, so toot was indeed incorrect. So I'm going to skip these for now, because maybe when I figure out whatever 3 down is, that might help me. Oh, this might be an avenue. Mass Avenue. Might be as simple as that. In which case this would be an E, which would make this a neck pillow, which is a thing that helps. Okay, that's what it is. And then self-congratulatory cry is maybe ta-da. 'Tis the season is December. I see. Okay. That's a tough corner. One thing that is noteworthy here about these clues, though, about 13 across especially, if you see an abbreviation in the clue, that is, again, almost always, this rule is rarely broken, it is almost always an indication that the answer is also an abbreviated form of something. In this case, Av is the abbreviated form of avenue, Mass being the abbreviated form of Massachusetts, so that we have an abbreviation in the clue, and the answer is abbreviated also. So yeah, there you go. 4 across. Moving on. Enter one's password. This is an action, right? Enter one's password, so the answer is also going to be an action or verb of some kind. Log in, maybe? Probably. Singer/actress Jennifer. Anytime a clue gives you one half of a name, the answer is always going to be the other half of the name. So Jennifer, it's looking for the second half of the name. It's not coming to mind right away. I'm going to skip it. Yes, madame. Clues that come in quotation marks. Here's another thing that you will see every once in a while. A clue that comes in a quotation marks indicates that the answer is going to be a complete word or phrase that matches the meaning or could be used in place of the complete word or phrase in quotation marks in the clue. So we're looking for something that could be used in place of yes, madame, which I think is oui here. And by the way, I should have mentioned when I came to neck pillow, this was the first indication, or the first one that we had here in this particular puzzle, which was there are some crosswords that will indicate to you whether the answer is 1 word or 2 words or 3 words, etc. American style crosswords generally do not do that. American style crosswords could be just 1 word. It could be several words. They do not tell you. You just have to use your intuition to figure it out. Anyways, let's go back on. Birth announcement units. I still don't know what... Yes, I do. I just played Wheel of Fortune, which is the crossword solvers phrase that we use to refer to when we're not totally sure, but looking at the letters available, or the letters that are already filled in, kind of trying to fill in the blank letters, what could go in there. and I did figure out that that is ounces, right? So just to reiterate again, units, it was a plural in the clue, so ounces, plural in the answer. There we go. 6 down, big inits, and we have an abbreviation in the clue, so the answer is also abbreviated. So big inits, big initials in protein powder, GNC, I believe is the answer there, General Nutrition Center or something like that. Gross in quotation marks, so something else that you could say to replace the word gross, ick. And let's continue over to the northeast corner over here. Contents of an hourglass. This is pretty straightforward. This is contents, I mean, it does have an S on the end of contents, but sand is a collective noun, so there doesn't need to be an S at the end of sands to match the plurality there. So just sand is the answer. And let's go to 16 across. Charlie's Angels, for example. Now that is interesting. Charlie's Angels, for example. I mean, Charlie's Angels could be like a film. It is a movie. Could be maybe a trio. I believe it's 3 angels, so it could be a trio. This is one that I'm going to need a few letters filled out from the other words to give me a hint as to what this is looking for. Like Death Valley. There are often clues that start with like. Any clue that starts with like is generally looking for an adjective. So an adjective that could describe Death Valley, I would say, is arid, dry. A pleasant French city. Here we have, I believe this is the first one we've come across, but clues with question marks at the end. These are a staple of American-style crosswords. You will see them in almost any American-style crossword you ever do. You will see some clues with question marks at the end. A question mark at the end of a clue is an indication of a play on words. There is some kind of a pun or play on words happening. Such as in this case, because the N starts here, I'm pretty sure I know what this is. A pleasant French city. A French city that sounds pleasant would be Nice, because it looks like it's spelled like nice, thus pleasant. So it's kind of a play on words there, just a little like, you know, it's kind of like a dad joke kind of thing. If you think about question mark clues as dad joke clues, that's probably a good way to think about it. But yeah, there you go. 12 down is a go-getter. A go-getter. What could that be that starts with D? This is just a straight synonym. A straightforward clue. Go-getter. I'm not sure yet what that is. Do I know with 16 across yet? Charlie's Angels, for example. I think it is trio. Wow, I was right on there. 3 people, trio. Look at that. So clues that are like, that give you an example of something like this. So Charlie's Angels just being one example of something. Those are often tough because there are so many possibilities of what that could be looking for. I got lucky there that I figured it out, and the letters clued me in that I was correct. Yeah. Okay, Fall Guys with a question mark. So this is another dad joke one. This is another play on words one. The ST, however, is not quite enough for me to figure out what that is. So I'm going to skip it. And I'm going to look at 18 across, which is our first themed entry of the day. As I mentioned before, the long across entries in this puzzle will all be connected in some way. That doesn't mean that they are individually, that the clues necessarily have anything to do with one another. There's just at the end that we will see some overarching thing that connects them. But as you're solving, you can basically treat them as individual answers most of the time. They don't necessarily connect in any way until you get to the end. But if that's a little confusing, just bear with me. It should make more sense as we find out what more of these are today. So 18 across is one remedy for a hangover, supposedly. I think, just doing Wheel of Fortune again here, looking at the letters that I have already, I believe this is pickle juice. And now that I have the E there, I can see the 12 down for go-getter is just doer. Yeah, okay. 22 across, big blank, cheapo's opposite. Straightforward fill in the blank. The opposite of a cheapo is a big spender. Okay, let's see. 15 down, filter that gives photos a vintage look. This is just a trivia question. It's really straightforward. It's just looking for what is the name of that filter that gives photos a vintage look. It is sepia or sepia. I'm not sure how it's pronounced. I think it's sepia though. 19 down. Biden White House Press Secretary Psaki. Again, we've gotten half of her name here, so it's looking for the other half, and I believe her name is Jen Psaki. Okay. 4 down. Now that I have Lope, now I know that this is Jennifer Lopez, the singer-actress. So that is the other half of the name that they were looking for. And we've got a P and a Z here in 23 across. I wonder if I can figure out what this is. P and Z are pretty unique, so like if you have some unique letters like that, generally that is usually enough to figure out what it's looking for. But let's see. Place to pick up a pepperoni pie, perhaps. That's going to be a pizza joint, I think. And so now I have 2 themed entries filled in already. 18 across with pickle juice and 23 across with pizza joint. I already know there's going to be some sort of overarching theme that connects these with along with 2 others in the grid. So like for me as a veteran solver, my brain is already working looking for what could be the connection between these, and right away I see that these are both 2-word phrases where the first word begins with a P and the second word begins with a J. So maybe that's the theme here. Maybe it's PJs, something about pajamas or something like that. We'll see. Okay. Let's go back to 9 down now that I have all these letters here. Fall Guys. I believe this is going to be stuntmen. Right? It's not the traditional usage of the phrase fall guy, like a scapegoat, or something like that. It is stuntman. Sorry, someone who literally takes a fall for you. So the stuntman. That's good. I like that. Once again, though, even though it is a play on words here, it does still follow that plurality rule where the clue is fall guys with an S. So it's multiple guys. And this is also plural here because it's men. So even though we do have plays on words, that rule still holds strong. So that's important to note and just keep in mind. Okay, let's look at 21 down. Sass, that would be lip, right? Given sass, given lip. It's just any one-word clue with no question mark or anything like that is just going to be straight, just looking for a synonym that you could use to replace it. 27 across, card in Uno, or action on Spotify. So we're looking for something that could be either of those, and I do believe that is skip. I'm pretty sure there's a card skip in Uno. 27 down, absorbs, as with bread. Here, this is a good opportunity to talk about one other rule that is like pretty much always the case. Similar to the plurality rule is also verb tense. as you may have noticed, many of these clues are just looking for synonyms or like other words that could be used in place of them. Anytime that is a verb, the verb tense or verb conjugation of the clue is going to carry over into the answer. In this case, we have absorbs with an S on the end, right? It's not absorb, it's absorbs. That is specific and deliberate, and that is an indication that the answer is also going to be in the same tense. So this is probably going to end in an S, and now that I see S with an S, and I'm thinking of with using bread to absorb something, I think that is sops, right? You sop up olive oil or something. Sop up some sauce. So there you go. That's another rule that is is very reliable, tried and true, remains steady. Popeye's olive, fill in the blank, that is olive oil, is the character's name. That's just a trivia one, I just happen to know that. 28 down, capital of Japan for more than 1,000 years. Hey! I believe last week we had Kyoto in the grid also. That's the city where I am currently recording this video. That's where I live. So that's pretty fun to see that in the grid. This is just a trivia one. You either know it or you don't. If you don't know it, by the way, just move on. Don't sit there racking your brain about it. Just move on. In all likelihood, you will get more letters later that will help you do that Wheel of Fortune stuff and fill in what is missing. All right. 29 across. Actress Glazer of Broad City. This is, again, another half of a name, so it's looking for the other half. I believe it's Ilana Glazer, but I'm not sure how to spell it. I think it's L-A-N-A, but I'm not sure if this is an I or an E or an A here. I think it might be an I. Let's look at 24 down. Pasta popular on The Sopranos. A pasta that is popular on The Sopranos. Ziti? That's the only thing I could think of that would be 4 letters that starts with Z. I don't know if that was popular on The Sopranos, but that's, again, just Wheel of Fortune. It's got to be a pasta, and it's got to be 4 letters and start with Z, so I'm going to guess it's Ziti. And there we have Ilana with an I. 25 down. Smart blank. That's a smart aleck. 26 down. Birthplace of Rastafarianism. This is just a straight up trivia one. This is Jamaica. Thorny part of a rose. That would be the stem. Nothing too tricky here. Teen's bedroom stereotypically. Interesting. Teen's bedroom stereotypically. I'm not sure what this is looking for, so I'm going to skip it. Try and get some crossing letters and see if I can figure out what it is. Poker faced, that would be stoic. Teen's bedroom. No, it's not stoic. I just figured out what the teen's bedroom is. It's a sty, as in very messy. And this is stony instead of poker faced. That's good. I like those. Those are very, so this is an aside. This isn't about, how to solve the puzzle or anything, but just as an aside, a commentary that I would normally do when solving puzzles. My favorite clues, I always say, are the clues that are very evocative and bring to mind, conjure up a certain image, a very specific image. Teen's bedroom stereotypically is one of those. Like, you imagine a messy bedroom. And so sty is just perfect. I like that. Okay, I think I've got enough letters here that I might be able to figure out 37 across, even though it's long. Close follower of the horse race. I believe so going off of my inkling, my gut feeling about PJ being the theme here, I believe this is a political junkie. I think that's what it's going to be. But even if I didn't pick up on that, like I had enough letters that I could guess political there, because I had everything except this I and the L for political, and that kind of helped me figure out what was going on there. So let's go back up to 30 across and see if we can figure this out. UFC sport. This is just, again, referencing back to the rule about abbreviations in the clue equals abbreviations in the answers. So UFC is abbreviated, so our answer is also abbreviated, and it is MMA. 32 down, the Little Mermaid. Her name was Ariel. Listens to... this is one of those verb ones that follows the same conjugation or same tense as the clue. So listens to with an S on listens. This is hears with an S on hears. Okay, 35 down. Peach or periwinkle. So something that both of these are is a hue. Both of those are hues. Sometimes you'll see clues, by the way, that have or in the middle. So they're two things with an or in between, and the answer is going to be a word that could match either one of them, right? Or could be used to label either one of them in this case. If, by the way, this had changed to peach and periwinkle, if the clue was peach and periwinkle, that would indicate that the answer is plural. That would be another case where they're indicating plurality in the answer. So that is similar to the plural rule that I mentioned before. In this case, it is or, so it's just one or the other. It's not both. So it is a singular hue. But if it was peach and periwinkle, the answer should have been hues with an S. Just as a FYI. Vend, sell. Again, following the same conjugation as the clue. Vend and sell, same conjugation, same tense. Sinister fish in The Little Mermaid. Oh, that's kind of fun. We have two references to The Little Mermaid that cross each other. That's fun. Sinister fish in The Little Mermaid, that would be an eel. And then 47 across, what's stronger than might would be will. Right? That's a stronger word than might. Okay, let's go to 42 across. Okay. Oh, okay. This is in quotations, so it's something that you would say that could replace oh, okay. I'm guessing that's I see, maybe? And then 39 down, challenge for a future attorney with a abbreviation in the clue, so abbreviation in the answer, that would be LSAT. Spanish boss with L, that'll be jefe. You do see clues, by the way, with that use this comma with something at the end of the clue. That means whatever the answer is has to be paired together with, in this case, with L to mean what the first part of the clue said. So jefe by itself isn't Spanish boss necessarily, but when it's paired together with L, that it means Spanish boss. That is a type of clue that you are fairly likely to see. That kind of cluing style does come up quite a lot. 45 across, late night coffee order, that would be decaf. 44 across, reactions to stepping on Legos, say. Well, this is quite easy because it's reactions with an S, so this is plural. So the last letter has got to be an S here, and ows being the reactions. 38 down, checks out. So this is a bit of a tricky one because check out could have multiple meanings, right? Check out could be like check out at a store. Check out could mean like check out to like look at something. It could mean check out like to borrow something from a library. Check out has many meanings. But one thing that is for sure is checks out is a verb phrase, and the what's the word? I'm blanking on the word. The conjugation of it here is with an S, so checks out. So this is likely going to end in an S also. It should match the conjugation. And now that I see that, I'm thinking this is the visual, like looking at something. I think it is inspects. Oops. Okay. And that P also fits in with this long entry. That we know this is a themed entry, and all our themed entries so far have been PJ pairings, so that P looks good. So inspects is probably correct. So what is this? Aircraft that's 1% full with a question mark. So this is a dad joke one. This is a play on words one. A private jet. Oh, yes, I see what the play on words is there. The 1% being like the rich, very rich people being the 1%. So an aircraft that's full of the 1% would be a private jet. Very good. That's a great clue. I really like that. Anyways, let's continue. Let's go with 31 down. Iconic encouragement from Tim Gunn on Project Runway. Make it work. That's Tim Gunn's catchphrase, I'm pretty sure. I didn't watch that much of Project Runway, but I did watch a bit of it. I think that's right. Get hitched. This would be wed. Again, a verb that is matching the conjugation here. Get hitched. So we are going to, like if you think of what the conjugation would be, we are going to get hitched. We are going to wed, right? So conjugation matches there. Okay, 50 down, jokes around, maybe jests there. Again, conjugation matching here. Jokes around, jokes with the S. It's not joke around, it's jokes around, jests. Okay, astronomer Hubble, I believe that's Edwin Hubble. And then, oops, Edwin Hubble. And let's go 45 down. 8 or 9, but not 10. Interesting. 8 or 9, but not 10. I'm not sure what that is. I'm going to skip it. Were it possible that, even if, so it's a phrase that replaces the meaning. It has the same meaning of were it possible that. Even if it happened. Farm measure. What is this? Acreage? I think it's acreage. 49 down. When doubled, enthusiastic. Rah? Maybe? When doubled means whatever the answer is, it has to be doubled to mean enthusiastic. I guess that's rah. Let's take a look at 57 across now. And as I mentioned before, 57 across, we already saw that when I highlighted 57 across, it highlighted all the other themed entries in this puzzle. This kind of a clue and answer, this is what we call a revealer, meaning this particular one at 57 across kind of reveals what the theme is that connects all the other ones that are highlighted here. 18 across, 23 across, 37 across, 48 across. So it is that's why we call it the revealer. It's the clue and answer combination that reveals the theme. So some Xmas card attire or a hint to 18, 23, 37 across. Interesting. Xmas card attire. Like in Christmas card attire, you might wear... And now one thing that is interesting about this clue is it says Xmas instead of Christmas. Xmas is a way of shortening Christmas. So something, I believe, is going to be shortened here. Maybe it's PJs. So maybe it's like something like that. Xmas card attire. Matching PJs, I believe is what that is, right? So people might wear matching pajamas for a Christmas card. Matching PJs is the answer. And then I believe the matching just means like it is a set of 4 phrases that all are PJs. And so they match. And that is a theme. It's not overly deep. I mean, some of them are deeper than others, and some of them are more complex than others. We are on a Tuesday puzzle today, so it's quite simple and straightforward. But yeah, that's what we mean when we talk about a themed puzzle. Any kind of revealer for a theme. It's just kind of, it doesn't have to do with the puzzle in entirety. It's just a few of the bigger clues throughout the puzzle will have some kind of connection between them. Generally, you can ignore it most of the time. Sometimes if you are able to figure it out, it might help you fill in the puzzle faster. But for the most part, it's just kind of a cherry on top of the puzzle. It's not something that is meant to make or break your solving experience. Unless you're doing a Thursday puzzle. Thursdays are the hardest themed puzzles of the week. Sometimes they can make or break your solving experience. But, if you're getting to that point, basically you should be much more comfortable with solving the clues before you get to that point. Anyways, 51 down. Radio switch. That would be an AM/FM switch, right? Safekeeping care, I suppose. 62 across. Worry. Fret. Again, verb matching tense there. 53 down. Google Maps might provide several of them, and it is abbreviated. Several of them, so it's plural. So this should be an S at the end, and it is roots, RTE, the abbreviation of roots. 65 across, let's just double check that is correct. Snafu is a mess. Yes, that is correct. Okay. 65 down, 8 or 9, but not 10. That is a digit. I see, because 10 is 2 digits, whereas 8 or 9 is a single digit. This is why the plurality rule is important. This is a single digit for the answer, whereas 10 is actually 2 digits. Very clever. I like that. That's good. Okay. 50, let's go to 58 down. 4.0 is an excellent one. That is a GPA. African American or Asian American, for example, for short. So, wow. Okay. African American or Asian American. This is maybe POC for person of color. So it's for short, so it's got to be an abbreviation. And then African American or Asian American, so it's a singular because it's or in the middle. And these are 2 examples of what it is. I think it's POC. There was a lot going on in that clue. That is a combination of several of these rules that I covered before. Very kind of actually nice that came at the end of the puzzle rather than the beginning. After I already explained all those rules, you can see how they all work in conjunction to make that clue and answer combination. 60 down, stick out. I believe that's jut out, but let's check the crosses just to make sure. Distribute cash at the end of a shift in restaurant lingo. That is tip out. If you've ever worked in a restaurant, you know that. My first ever job was in a restaurant, so I do know that is tip out. Is when they distribute cash at the end of a shift. They if they like share tips among one another, they tip out. And so jut out looks correct. What's 66 across? Snapple cap fodder. Facts. So fodder is another kind of collective noun. So it could be singular or plural. So that is an ambiguous one. So facts still doesn't break the plural singular rule here. Even though the clue does look singular. Anyways, 61 across. Keats's To Autumn, for example. So Keats's To Autumn is an example of an ode. Oedipus blank, that is Oedipus Rex. And 67 across, Kit Kat bar. Gotta be cat bar. There's nothing else that could go there. But just to make sure, let's check the crosses. Starting place for an inventor. You start with an idea, and then 56 down. In the on deck circle, say would be next. And there you have it, folks. That is how you solve a New York Times crossword, or any kind of American-style crossword these days. Those are we covered pretty much all of like the big rules that you will see again and again that are like really stay solid, and people generally don't break those rules when they're making crosswords. So the last thing that I will say, which didn't happen today but does happen, especially when you're starting out learning how to solve crosswords, but even still happens to me when I do maybe more difficult crosswords, which is just getting stuck somewhere. If you come across some things that you just don't know and you really can't get it, there's absolutely nothing wrong with if you're using the browser online, or if you're solving in the app, you can use these tools to the app has the answer built in, so you can just use the hints to reveal the parts that you're stuck with, and just there's nothing wrong with that. Don't let getting stuck ruin the joy of solving a puzzle, because really puzzles are kind of a joyous celebration of language and pop culture. That's really what they are. They are a celebration of things that we enjoy in language and pop culture, and history as well. Like, if you're getting frustrated and stuck somewhere, don't worry about it. Take it easy. It's not a big deal to use a hint and reveal the answer. The more you do puzzles, the less you will need to do that in the future. But when you're starting out, you will need to do it probably a lot, and that's totally fine. Anyways, I hope that gets you excited. I hope that helps understanding kind of how crosswords work a lot. The other thing one other thing that I didn't mention, which didn't come up today really that much, but there is actually also what we call Crossword Ease, as in like crossword language, Crossword Ease, which is there are words that you will see in crossword grids quite often. Words and phrases that you will see again and again in crossword grids, because generally it's because they are very, very useful strings of letters. And so the more that you do crosswords, the more you will start to recognize things that come up again and again and again in crosswords, because they are just like very common letters that are strung together. For example, we, like any string of vowels together is extremely useful in a crossword where you're trying to match words going across. Like it's very useful for whoever made the puzzle to have a string of vowels that can go together and still make a word. And things like that. So because of those constraints of when people are making crosswords, it ends up being there's lots of words that you will see over and over again. And so again, the more you do crosswords, the more you'll start to recognize all of these things, and you'll get better at them. So that's it. If you are new to crosswords, let me know how this helped you. Let me know if you have any questions. I am really happy to answer questions. Feel free to leave a comment below. I'll be back tomorrow, however, to do my usual crossword solve, which is me going at a pretty brisk pace through the Wednesday puzzle, hopefully, unless I get tripped up somewhere. If you like this video, please do give it a thumbs up, and please do subscribe to the channel. I do these Teaching Tuesday videos every other month on the first Tuesday of the month, and I do videos every Monday through Thursday of solving the New York Times crossword, as well as I do live streams on Twitch. If you follow the link in the description to my Twitch channel, you can follow me there and join me on Sundays, which Sundays Japan time, Saturday evenings US time, middle of the night, maybe in Europe or the UK, if you're over there. Join me and for the live streams, and we can solve puzzles together. That's been a lot of fun doing that this year, and so yeah, that's it. All right, I'm gonna sign off now. I hope you have a great night, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye bye.